everyone, welcome to another episode of the No Man's Land. I'm Angela Ramirez. Today we are going to be talking about the Africatown Coalition and their connection to the Compton shooting that happened in Los Angeles. Just to be clear, these guys are not implicated in any way in the actual shooting of the two officers that were ambushed in Compton. Instead, this is the group who actually showed up to St. Francis Medical Center chanting, "We hope they die," in regards to the police officers who were inside receiving emergency medical treatment for their wounds. So I know that the reason I'm doing this is because there have been a lot of rumors that I've seen on Twitter that it was Black Lives Matter specifically that was involved in this protest and in what I would call a brutal demonstration of hatred towards police officers. I've seen a lot of people say that it was Black Lives Matter specifically that showed up. I would like to discredit that. As easy as it would be for us to say that it was Black Lives Matter who showed up there or Black Lives Matter advocates, that is not the case. In fact, the people who showed up at the hospital to root on the death of these officers were actually a part of the Africatown Coalition, which is a group that does support Black Lives Matter and actually almost word for word pushes for the same agenda items and policy choices that the movement for Black Lives does. But it is not the same organization, not on paper and not in leadership. However, they do, like I said, support Black Lives Matter and are, influenced, I guess is the word I'm looking for. They are influenced by the Black Lives Matter movement. So today we're going to be talking about the Africatown Coalition and their decision to go root for the deaths of ambushed police officers. So let's dive into it. I'm just going to read the article today. I'm not going to do too much commentary. And I am going to play a few videos. So before we get started, I'm going to play the video of the two officers, the ambush that happened. Here we go. For those of you guys who are not watching this, an individual walks up to a cop car, shoots a firearm at point-blank range, and then runs away. As he's running away, the passenger side door opens, and then the video cuts out. The reason for that is because LAPD didn't want to release that part of the footage. That's understandable. Two people that work with them had just been shot. And now I'm going to play, for those of you guys who don't know what happened in regards to the injuries that these officers sustained, they were shot multiple times in the face and the extremities. Both officers were shot in the face. One officer was shot in the jaw. Her jaw was blown out. And, these were life-threatening injuries that by sheer will to live, these officers overcame. Now I'm going to play a video of the people who walked up to the hospital. Now, in this post that I have linked and embedded into the article, it does say BLM protesters, but again, the whole point of this article and video is to discredit the fact that it was BLM, because it's very important that we identify who these groups are and kind of document the different groups that are working together under the same umbrella movement in order for journalism and law enforcement to have the right information. We can't just be generalizing and saying everybody is BLM, because it's not the case. While they are influenced by BLM and they do rally under the BLM flag and push movement for Black Lives, ideology and policy decisions, they are a different group. But I think that's very important to understand that this isn't just one huge organization, that this is actually multiple small factions that are operating under the same ideology and goals. So I'm going to play that video now.
Stab, whatever.
What's out there, Black family? This is Kevin Ward Price, Africatown Coalition. We are out here at St. Francis Hospital, where two of America's most notorious gang members have been brought to. We're going to go up here and just check on these murderers right here and see what's up. You know what I'm saying? So let me turn this around. Oh, let me put this blunt out. I'll say this for later. Unfurl those flags. Get those flags open. What's up, y'all? We're down here at the St. Francis Hospital. We're down here. Excuse me?
No, we're coming to visit someone.
No, you're not.
We can't go visit nobody?
You can once we confirm who it is, but there's no visitation allowed anyway, so you gotta go.
All right, y'all. You see what's happening right here, right? They got these pigs out here. They are telling us that we cannot come in here and see these individuals who's been shot down at the motherfucking train station. You understand what I'm saying?
There's no visitation allowed, sir.
What?
There's no visitation allowed, sir.
Okay. This is a public this is
No,
a
it's
public
not.
hospital
No, it's
right
not.
here.
It's a private hospital.
And you telling
sir.
us that we cannot
It's a private
come here
hospital, sir.
inside of
It's a private hospital, sir.
It's public.
No, it's not. It's not county. It's private. You need to go.
This is public.
You need
How
to
you
go,
gonna stop
sir.
us from coming up in
You
here?
need to go, sir.
You need to go.
Please.
You know what I'm saying? Hey,
You
so
need to
this,
go,
look,
sir.
y'all, look, y'all, let me tell you something.
Private.
Don't push on me, I can
You
walk.
pushed that
Private,
to me,
private.
sir.
Let's
You
draw
pushed
a
that to
line
me,
right
sir.
here.
But the
Private
line is
property.
The line is
Are you
Private
denying us
property.
emergency care?
Private property.
Private property. We all sick. We all got COVID.
Private property.
You're not
Private
doing
property.
games. You got the flag.
This is the hospital.
What plan, what game?
This is the hospital.
Yeah, what y'all want to do? They done brought these women up in
This is the
front of
hospital.
This is
I
private
can't
property.
push on
This
no
is the
woman.
hospital, man.
This
We-
is private
we got-
property.
We out here sick.
Come on.
No, you're not.
We out here sick. We out.
All right, so you guys can tell that was just a bunch of craziness, and that these guys are obviously playing games. Shortly after this video was taken, LAPD sent out a tweet saying to the people who are outside chanting, "We hope they die." You cannot block emergency exits. This is a life or death situation. So it turned out that these guys actually stuck around. They were chanting, "We hope they die," outside of the hospital and blocking emergency ambulance exits and entrances to the facility. So I'm going to read the blog now that you guys have watched that video. And I quote, "Immediately after the ambush of 2 officers in Compton, California, anti-police protesters arrived in St. Francis Medical Center, where the officers were receiving emergency care. Video of the shooting is below, but be warned it's graphic." We've already watched the video, so I'm going to skip past that. "The group who arrived was the Africatown Coalition, who rooted for the death of the officers by chanting, 'We hope they die,' outside the emergency room." Who is the Africatown Coalition? Established in 2016 and led by Kevin Wharton Price, who is shown in the video above, the Africatown Coalition is located in Southern California's Los Angeles region. They claim to have taken control of Leimert Park Village in Los Angeles. Their stated mission is to establish and develop an Africatown in Los Angeles and other cities which have a significant concentration of Black people. These Africa towns intend to become areas that are entirely controlled by Black individuals. Specifically, they will be an area in which Black people will control the security, housing, economics, social dynamics, and self-governance and all other aspects of our environment. While they do have a page on their site for donations, their payment processor via PayPal is down. The individual named on the payment account is someone by the name of William Campbell. The Africatown Coalition waves the Pan-African flag. While walking up to the hospital, one of the members of the ATC says, "Unroll those flags." He was referring to the Pan-African flags carried by members. What is the Pan-African flag? The Pan-African flag was originally created by Marcus Garvey in 1920. Originally, it was created to symbolize unity and liberation of the Black race. Today, however, it's become a symbol used to encourage Black individuals to struggle towards Black nationalism and diplomatic sovereignty for their race. Like many other Black identity extremists, Africatown Coalition rejects the U.S. flag. Instead, they sport the Pan-African flag. The flag and its colors represent the United States of Africans. In short, the meaning of the flag has shifted away from its original purpose. Now it symbolizes the fight for the Black race to obtain their own sovereign country. Overall, it's crucial during these times to break down the various individual groups that are operating under the Black Lives Matter open source umbrella. Not only does identifying each individual group help to eliminate confusion while discussing the topic, it also ensures that law enforcement and the public are able to identify which specific groups and individuals are participating in these anti-police activities. That's the end of the article. Super short. There was a couple things that I wanted to go back over really quick. The idea of the Pan-African flag, I think that in general, the flag kind of was supposed to be a unifying symbol, at least originally. However, I have seen a number of people posting content online and utilizing that flag in such a way that it represents not unity of people who have struggled historically, but instead a call to fight for diplomatic sovereignty. And if you guys were to go through this article and read the sources, you would be able to find sources that actually do cite just that is supposed to be a struggle for Black sovereignty as opposed to, a unifying flag. Let's see. So there was one more thing that I wanted to go over before I cut this short. The section here where I talk about what the Africatown Coalition's goal is, where I mentioned that they want to control towns, the security, the housing, the economics, the social dynamics, self-governance, and all other aspects of the environment. That's actually a direct quote from their website, and I want to just break that down. So they say that they want to control the security. That means they want to control the policing and the law enforcement of their towns. They don't want LAPD or local police forces coming in and deciding who is a criminal. They would prefer to just kind of decide that for themselves within their community, and I guess, self-police the community based on whoever the individuals in that region decide to elect, right? So they don't want, for example, Los Angeles, the city, to decide who polices Compton. They want the people of Compton, and specifically just the Black members of Compton, to decide who will be policing that area. Furthermore, they want to control the housing. They don't really go into what they mean by that, but it's likely that they would want to own the property in some sort of community co-op. And the reason I say that is because Movement for Black Lives, which is also a part of the Black Lives Matter movement. So the way that it works is the Movement for Black Lives is a coalition of 150 plus different individual groups that have kind of banded together under the same rallying cries, policy agendas to push their motives. So 150 different groups from across the country with same ideas and same goals are operating under what they call the Movement for Black Lives. The Movement for Black Lives is a 501c3 fiscal sponsor that is using the Alliance for Global Justice as their fiscal sponsor. So a fiscal sponsor means that this organization didn't go through all the hoops to become a nonprofit themselves. Instead, they contract a nonprofit company to handle their admin and financing for them. So the Movement for Black Lives uses the Alliance for Global Justice. And the Alliance for Global Justice is like a super far left nonprofit that actually sends money all over the place. It's a very strange organization. They were the fiscal sponsor for Occupy Wall Street. They hold regular meetings online with Venezuela. They're like a communist sympathizing nonprofit that is based here in the US, which is very interesting. So a lot of the Africatown Coalition's goals are like word for word what the Movement for Black Lives is hoping to do. So when I say that these guys are a separate organization, when I say that the Africatown Coalition is a separate organization than Black Lives Matter or the Movement for Black Lives, that is true on paper. However, if you were to look at it from a perspective of what are their goals, are they similar? What are their policy agenda items that they're hoping to accomplish? Those are similar. I mean, everything pretty much down to the T is the same, with the exception of it's like a faction within that movement. Anyway, so moving forward, economics, the Africatown Coalition wants to control the economics of their region. They want to only support Black-owned businesses, and down the way, I'm sure they would be looking to eliminate anybody who is not Black from operating a business in that area. Social dynamics. Anytime you get an organization who's saying they want to control the social dynamics of a region, that's very dangerous territory. And self-governance, as well as all other aspects of their environment. So they don't want any sort of state government, city government. They want to basically establish their own government and their own, like, pretty much city based on race. And that is obviously a tried and true method for disaster and danger and violence. So I think that's important to point out. I think that is everything. I know it's a kind of a shorter video today, but I think we covered everything. If you guys have any questions, you can always reach out to me on Twitter. My handle is CO Angela Ramirez. Also, if you guys enjoyed this content and you're watching it on BitChute, please consider donating or sharing the content. I really appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, share and subscribe. And if you guys are watching this on Twitter, please consider donating to my PayPal. I do this all. Basically, I just enjoy investigative journalism, and I would really like to make this a full-time career. So if you guys could maybe support it with like a few dollars, buy me a coffee, guys. I would really appreciate it. If you can't send $5 over, please just like and subscribe. That really helps as well. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day, guys. Bye.